All right, Raider Nation, welcome back to the Raider D podcast. Today we're going to be talking about the injury report for the Raiders moving into the Cleveland Browns game this Sunday, and we'll be talking about some of the key factors that the Raiders need to achieve in order to come out with a dub this week, especially given that Gardner Minshew is going to be the quarterback once again. Plus, a new starter on that offensive line. All that and more on today's episode of the Raider D podcast. All right, Raiders and Raiderettes, you know how we get into this. You know what time it is. We're going to get into some of the injury report and breaking news with the Raiders on this Thursday evening just for you guys. So if you're brand new to the channel and you love the Raiders content, hit that subscribe button because I've noticed that over 60% of you are still not subscribed. And if you get any value out of this video by the end, if I've kept your attention and informed and entertained, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button and the like. Now let's jump into the information for today's video. It has been reported that Davante Adams is injured, or he is at least suffering, as in today's practice, he was limited. Now, the nature of this injury, we don't know, and he wasn't listed with this injury on yesterday's report, which tells us that possibly he injured himself somehow in Wednesday's practice. Extent of this injury, we're not aware. He did practice, but it was limited, and he is not on the injury report as questionable or anything like that moving forward for the Cleveland Browns game on Sunday. And that is excellent news for the Raiders because we definitely have to have our very best wide receiver on the field if we have any chance whatsoever of winning this game. So if I hear anything, you'll hear anything because I will let you guys know. Now, in other injury report news, Divine Diablo is still hobbled and still nursing from his injury, so expect not to see him in that Cleveland game on Sunday. He is listed as questionable and most likely not going to play. Let's see if Amari Gainer is going to get a shot this week because Luke Masterson absolutely looked terrible out there on the defense in replace of Divine Diablo. And I really think that Amari Gainer could be a special linebacker in the NFL. So watch out for that. Other news is Thayer Munford is also still injured, did not practice, and is also not expected to start in Sunday's game against the Cleveland Browns. This means DJ Glaze, the rookie who filled in for him last week, will get another shot to start, and that's good news for the Raiders because we really want to see, is DJ Glaze really as good as his preseason game footage shows, as well as how good he did in last week's game? Or is all of that just a fluke and Thayer Munford will retain that right tackle position? In my opinion, I think DJ Glaze is a better right tackle than Thayer, even though he's a rookie and Thayer's been in the league a couple of years. I don't think Thayer Munford is a starting level right tackle in the NFL. I think DJ Glaze absolutely could be. This will be a good test. Let me know what you guys think below. Is Thayer Munford better or DJ Glaze? I'm rooting for DJ Glaze. Let's see how well he does on Sunday's game. In other news, Max Crosby is still a little bit hobbled from that high ankle sprain. Did not practice on Wednesday. He will be playing, of course, against the Cleveland Browns. No fret there. However, will he be 100%? As we seen last week in Carolina's game, he didn't look that great. He didn't look like the Max Crosby we all know and love. And by the way, if you want to get yourself a Max Crosby t-shirt or a poster like the one behind me, I'll drop a link in the description as well as a QR code right here so you can go pick yours up today. Obviously, we know that Marcus Epps is out for the season and Polamalu will be the one taking his position. And let's hope that this kid can actually fill those shoes and do a good job. Now, he's had some real good highlights in the past, getting interceptions, great tackles. Can he be consistent in that secondary? And can he fill the shoes of Marcus Epps? Those are big shoes to fill. Let's see how Polamalu can come out and handle business. We're rooting for him. He's a good character guy. I think he's going to have a good game. Now, back to the offensive line. We're all wondering, will JPJ start at left guard and replace Cody Whitehair, who simply has not played at all good football this entire season. I think it's a very high probability, according to the statements of Antonio Pierce, saying that there's going to be some changes on that offensive line. And who played really good last week on the offensive line other than JPJ? He did a fantastic job coming in 21 snaps. Love to see him get an entire game's repetitions in there and see how good JPJ really will be. In my opinion, it's going to happen. We'll see a lot of JPJ this Sunday, which will be good for the Raiders. Now let's jump into the key factors that the Raiders need to do in order to come out with a dub at home, our first win of the season at home against the Cleveland Browns. The Cleveland Browns are a mixed bag team. Sometimes they're hot, a lot of times they're not. Deshaun Watson's still dealing with legal troubles and lawsuits and investigations, and his mind is all over the map. Sometimes he's really good and sometimes he is really bad. Let's hope that Deshaun Watson is really bad this week against the Raiders, because we definitely need a win here. If we go 1-3 to start the season, our chances of making the playoffs are less than 7%, as I've mentioned in the past. We cannot allow that to happen. We definitely need a dub. In order to do that, Deshaun Watson is a former Pro Bowler and he can be really good. He's also very mobile. So we're going to have to contain him. We cannot lose containment. Also, we cannot allow them to run the ball on us like the first 3 weeks, where we have been atrocious at run defense. The run defense needs to step up this week. I think that's where Amari Gainer would shine if he is allowed to come into the game over Luke Masterson, who is not a good tackler and gets blown up on plays over and over again. Same thing was also true for Divine Diablo. Whereas Amari Gainer is a traditional linebacker, he is going to be much better as a tackler. I know Eichenberg and everybody wants to see him out there as well, but honestly, from what I've seen from Eichenberg and Amari Gainer, I'm kind of leaning towards Amari Gainer. I think he's just more athletic and more explosive than Eichenberg, and he has a higher upside. That would definitely help the Raiders when it comes to stopping that run defense. If we can hold them to under 100 yards on rushing for the day, that's going to force the ball in the hands of Deshaun Watson, and he's going to have to win the game with his erratic arm. Sometimes he's really good, and sometimes he's really not. Sounds kind of like a quarterback we got starting for the Raiders, where he'll do something that's really impressive, and then he'll do 3 plays where the ball's ending up in the dirt. That's Deshaun Watson, and that's the type of play that we want to see Deshaun Watson do so that we can come out with a dub. Now, that's the defensive side of the ball and how we stop Deshaun Watson, but how we're going to attack that offense is we have to get away from this run-first strategy and go to a West Coast offense, which is what Luke Getsy is supposed to be from. He's supposed to be from that West Coast tree. And when we've gone to the 4 wide outs in the West Coast offense, we've been effective. However, the problem is Gardner Minshew's not very good at running that offense because he holds on to the ball too long. You have to make quick, snappy decisions, and that's something that Gardner Minshew's just not good at. Gardner Minshew wants to run all over the field or run into sacks, and that's a negative. So we got to have Gardner Minshew get rid of the ball quick, and hopefully they've been drilling that into him that this is pretty much your last shot. If you can't pick it up today or this week, going against the Cleveland Browns, you might not pick it up at all, and we're going to go with Aiden O'Connell, who looked pretty good, again, in garbage time against Carolina, but Carolina was not playing prevent defense. They were going after Aiden O'Connell, and with pressure in his face, he was making plays. If this is the case, and we're down at halftime by 21 points, you could very well see Aiden O'Connell come out in the third quarter to take the team to victory, or at least try his very best, and we won't see Gardner Minshew anymore. I don't want to see that happen, because if that happens and Aiden O'Connell's not able to bring us a victory, we have a very slim chance of making the playoffs. Let me know what you guys' thoughts are on this, and I'll see you in the next video.